All right, we are now at about 8:45, and I want to make sure that there's time for the candidates to kind of say some closing statements to you. So I'm going to ask a last question, and I really apologize if I did not get to your question. There are some that we didn't quite have time to get to, but this is a little bit, I think, a shorter question. You say that, but I don't think each candidate addressed it head-on in their opening statement, but you might have referenced it. The question is, what is your position on using public financing for a professional sports stadium? The questioner actually asked your position on the Twin Stadium, although I think most people are right now thinking about the Viking Stadium.
That was my question.
Yes.
And that is the question.
All right.
You can ask. The question is, what was your views on the Twin Stadium funding?
All right, Twin Stadium funding, which is
15%,
which is 0.15% Hennepin County sales tax funding. All right, and Nate. So to answer this question head on, you talk about the Twin Stadium,
Got it.
But then you can go on.
I like talking about the Twins a lot more than talking about the Vikings. Even though this year it wasn't that exciting to talk about the Twins either. I still do not think that it was a good idea to increase the tax burden on people of low incomes disproportionately to fund something that, although enjoyed by people of all economic levels, and sports is a beautiful thing that brings people of all different backgrounds together, and a really wonderful thing to have in our community. I don't think it's fair to have a regressive tax like a sales tax pay for it. I think I'm opposed to public financing of stadiums in that way because we don't get a good deal. It's great to have sports teams. It's great to have the Twins here in Minnesota. I'm a big Twins fan. But it's not worth it if we're preventing people from putting healthy food on the table for their families because of that increased sales tax. And it's not fair that we're charging people who make less money. Sales tax is one of the most regressive forms of tax out there. We need to figure out how to start paying for these things by asking the wealthiest among us to contribute for them. We can do that respectfully. We can ask the wealthiest among us to make sure that we have a Viking Stadium, a Twin Stadium, and all these other wonderful amenities and luxuries that we have. But I do not support sales taxes to publicly financed stadiums because we don't get a good deal. And that's why I oppose them.
Well, first of all, I don't support public funding, any public dollars, whether it's taxes, bonding, or for the stadium, for billionaire owners. It's just I can't justify it right now. I mean, given our economy and the unmet needs in our community. It's just not something, there's better ways to invest our tax dollars to help us improve the economy. The stadium, the Twin Stadium, I'm not an insider, so I understand that that was financed, it's financed through the sales tax. And some people argue that there's a clear public benefit, but I don't, maybe during the time when the economy was a little better, I don't know. But it's just something that public funds. If you look at any of the proposals, whether it's sales tax, gaming, it's all regressive. It's going to be it's a very small percentage that is going to come from the wealthy, from those, and the rest of it's going to come from people spending. If it's gaming, they're going to be spending half their paycheck. To build a stadium, and that's unacceptable. The social impacts of that, and I don't know why we keep going back to that every single year. When you put that much resources into solving a problem, and if we could do that to housing or education or it just seems to me a waste of time to do that. I mean, I really want to keep the Vikings here. I mean, when we were at the convention, that question came out. My grandsons were there; they're 9 and 7, and they said the Vikings stay. And also they were cheering, "Go Vikings!" There, and so I get it at home, And so I just have I don't know how you explain to a 9-year-old that the Vikings might go away, but you know, I'd rather be a part of the solution. You know, I'm not opposed to private public partnerships per se, but they have to make sense. There has to be a clear public benefit.